All right, so I am, I guess, gonna do some instrument flushing today. These are all school-owned instruments. Instead of sending them in, I'd be looking at about 50 bucks or more a pop to get them flushed, and then probably more for repairs. I do it myself. I'm using 2 gallons of CLR, which I think was about 40. It's 20 bucks a gallon, a little over 20 a gallon. I'm not gonna tell you what my ratio is, but I got it mixed with some water in this tub. And what I'm doing here is ripping the stuff apart as we go, and then I'm marking them because I got all different brands here. And I get everything apart, and I'm gonna give it a flush to get everything cleaned. So that's what it looks like. So I'm not gonna throw all the small stuff like the slides and the valves in, but the main bodies of the trumpet I am gonna throw in. So this one I got in, which is a king. This one's a Getson I got in. This one is a question mark. I don't know. Oh no, it's not a question mark. It says Holton there. Huh, there's no marking on the bell. So we can fill that in. Holton. The Getson, it's all the solder joints are broke off, so I'm gonna have to resolder that. I didn't bring this stuff from school home. And the Holton, I'm gonna have to grab my tool bag and pull the slide pulling pliers because I can't get out the third valve slide, the second one here, or the first valve. So otherwise, everything else so far has been coming apart. I haven't tried on this one yet, the Con. I'll have to see. But this is what it looks like in the bath here. And I failed to mention the water I'm using is soft water. So it's not hard water. It goes through a water softener first. It's filtered, and it also is warm. I didn't use cold water. I think warm water seems to activate better than cold. So, alright. Alright, so the last one I got going here again, this is another Con. Obviously a little different than this other one. It uses bottom loaded springs. Yeah, so I'm actually really impressed that some of these slides came out, but I talked a lot about keeping this stuff greased. You keep grease on it so stuff doesn't oxidize. You can get them out. Obviously this Holton, we missed the memo on that. But like, they're pretty dirty. If you look at the valve caps, obviously that's where the dirt goes, but some of these are pretty gross. Where one had good mineral stains in them. This one, the spring is stuck. This one here too is pretty, pretty gunked up. And if you look in the valves are all green. It's time to flush them out. I mean, it's gross. So that one I got to work on. This one I got to see if I can get a part yet. The reason I'm wearing these, first of all, students don't always wash their hands a lot, so the instruments themselves are pretty gross. The cases here are extremely greasy, and I like to wash my hands a lot the way it is. I don't like touching the handles of the case. That is just super gross unless I wipe them down with alcohol or hand sanitizer or something to sanitize them first. So what do we got here? 2, 4, 5. So 5 instruments like that times 50. That'd be 250 bucks for flushings. It's a significant part of my repair budget. So I'm doing that for 40 bucks and my time, but my time's not worth anything. So here it is. Okay, so this is the one, this Con has got some stuck slides. What I'm going to use is this, which is a tuning slide pulling pliers. It's got a set screw here. I think this is actually for baritone valves and maybe tuba valves because it's bigger, but I use this on trumpet. I make it work. This set of pliers is expensive. This is from the Farise catalog of instrument repair. So I got a small mallet here, rawhide, because you don't want to be hitting it too hard. You hit it too hard, you're just going to break all the solder joints off. So you clamp the pliers on, and then what you should be doing is setting it so that the set screw doesn't crush into that. It's so you can hold down as tight as you want on this part of the handle, but that set screw bottoms out, so all you're doing is catching this little bit of a lip there. And you want to make sure too that you set the pliers the right way. This is obviously the incorrect way of doing it, so you want to make sure that you're using all of that surface area here to push against and out. So I'm hoping that a few taps here will break this loose. If not, we'll have to use some heat. It feels like it's moving. There we go. See, and then it pops right out. Usually it's just in the spot where it was last put. Second valve slide. Let's see what we can do with that. So same type of thing. You gotta be careful getting in there. And then if they didn't leave it out, you gotta tell your kids to leave the. Should have taken these off too. Tell them to leave the slides out. One, you're never gonna be in tune with them pushed all the way in. And if you leave them out, it makes fixing them so much easier because you got a little bit of a lip you can catch with this. And they're pushed all the way in. It's almost impossible to get to them, and sometimes it is without like scratching everything up. So if you don't do that, it just makes more work. Save yourself the headache and leave them open. So this one, I got one unstuck, but this one here is still stuck a little bit. So I'm gonna try tapping it. Boy, it's hard to get in there to tap. Oh, I think we got it though. Yeah, looks like it's gonna come out. Come on out. Some of it too is it could be stuck from corrosion, or it could be from the kids dropping the instrument 10,000 times. Right. So there we go. And I am not a repair person by any means, so don't take this as like, oh, what is this idiot doing? I don't have a diploma in instrument repair. I did take a short course at Vandercook on this, so. And I know they're like, oh, take your time, this and that. You know what? I'm doing this on my time right now during my summer, so I'm going to do it as fast as possible to make sure that the stuff gets taken apart, cleaned, and I don't burn up a ton of my time. Bottom valve caps, I just use the pliers on. It's like this one here I can get stuck. They tell you not to use the pliers with teeth, but you know what? As long as you know what you're doing, you can do it without marking it up. If you're an idiot, yeah, you're going to grind that brass off real quick with a regular pliers. The other thing too I do is vacuum out the cases. I just got done with this one. I might hit it again. There's a lot of hair. Kids have pets at home, and cats or small animals will get in a case and they just make a mess. And the cases are full of garbage. Kids don't clean them out, so give them a good vacuuming and then put the instrument in once it's clean. Alright, so getting a little bit further along here, all the trumpets have been, the main bodies of the trumpet, I should say, have been acid washed or CLR washed. All of the slides have been as well, and then I also hit them with a little bit of super fine steel wool. All the mouthpieces have been, and I just started, like this is my first set of valves I've brought back. I need to polish a little bit, and then I also have a set of valves that is currently soaking. It's a long process. Alright, so I got some here put back together, and I'm working on one here. I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm using this for the slides just because that's what I had at home. It's kind of red, it's sticky. I think the thicker the better on this stuff, and I really gooped it on. Applied it with my blue glove over there. I also put some on the threads in the bottom here, the caps, because those always seem to stick. And yeah, because usually the reason you need those off is because the kid can't get his valve out because it's frozen there. So did that. And then what I'm doing when I reassemble the valves, depending on how the valve is configured, because like if you look at that one, that's going to be fun to put that back together. All these valves are a little different. Well, I think there's two that are similar, and they're not the Cons, believe it or not. It's like this King, and I believe this Holton were the same. Getzen is obviously going to be different. But anyway, so this has like a thread that goes into the top of the valve stem like this. And what usually happens is when the kid tries to take his valve out, if this is loose, for whatever reason they spin the valve cap here, or the valve, the button, instead of actually turning the valve cap to get the valve out, and then they take this out and they have the whole thing. So I'm taking this pliers here and I'm just giving it a little bit of a tweak when I reassemble the valves. Also what I'm doing with the springs, I'm stretching them out so that the valves are a little sticky. The springs got a little bit of extra spring. I'm not replacing any springs, but yeah, so I pull them out, I pull them apart a little bit to give it a little extra spring. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so I'm going to do a play test on all of these. I'm not using the mouthpieces in the horn. I'm using This is a Dennis Wick 3C that I play with my other horn. Not a trumpet player, I play trombone. These are school instruments. There are a lot of dents, a lot of solder joints. I don't even know if all the water key corks are good. I didn't check any of that. That I'm going to do once I get back to school where I have my supplies. I haven't played for a while. I don't know how many more excuses I can make up here, but we're going to play through. We'll play through like an F triad. Seems like it works just fine. This is that, what is this? This is the con. This one had a really odd valve setup with a spring that was actually outside of the valve casing instead of like within the actual valve. This one is the Holton, same thing. Plays a little different. So the valves are go easier. Each one of these is a little different, and it's valves play different. They're either easier or more difficult to push down. Some seem to blow easier. This one's the Getson. Wow, this one blows weird. It's hard to get the notes to center. I'm wondering if it's not leaking air somewhere. These water keys have been resoldered back on, and there's a pretty good dent going on here where this brace connects the joint. It's all crushed in. I don't know. That's the excuse on that one. This is the King. King lacquer is pretty much gone, but for dents, this thing is actually pretty dent free. Water key corks, yeah, they look like they probably need to be replaced. Let's see what this one does. Ooh, I like the valves. Yeah, I don't know, in between, like, I don't know if the valves are sluggish or if it's my fingers. Definitely plays, seems like it plays easier. I think it sounds better. I don't know, might have something to do with the dents. This is a con. You got some dents. Water key corks could be replaced. And a lot of solder joints that have been resoldered. Let's see how this one. This one's got a different valve cap on the first valve. Oh, definitely sounds like it's a little flatter than the rest, huh? And that's all the further in the tuning slide goes. Oh my god. This one blows really hard. Like I have to put a lot of air behind it to get it to center pitch. So there you go. Those are the 5 horns that I just went through, and hopefully didn't waste my time acid washing them or chemically dipping them, whatever you want to call it, with the CLR. They're definitely clean. All the slides move nicely. The valves I oiled. Oh, I didn't say what I use. I just used blue juice. That's what we use at school. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. It seems like it evaporates really quick, and a lot of kids are like, oh, I haven't oiled my valves since October. Well, we're at the end of the school year, and you haven't oiled your valves. At least I like the idea that it says that it's supposed to internally clean your horn, because that's how it's chemically formulated. If it does that, that's great, because I tell the kids oil your valves every day. So, because I know they're not doing the maintenance on these horns, so, and they were quite disgusting. Valve caps were definitely gross. So there it is. That's the end of this project. Thank God. All right. All right. One more thing I'd like to add is this is my horn, the one I use. It's a French Besson. The bore size, I don't know. I think it's a 462. It says A. I think that means A bell. I don't know what all that means. I'm a trombone player, so and I try not to admit that too often. But this is the one I play on. This one is dent free. It is extremely filthy. I chew a lot of gum and I just play and chew gum. Basically so I don't have bad breath during class. So we'll give this one a go and see how this one sounds. This one plays way easier, I'm going to be honest. It could be all the factors. I think the biggest thing is, one, nothing's been resoldered. There's no actual holes in the horn. I know for a fact my water keys aren't leaking. Did I mention it's a larger bore probably than the rest of these? The Getson, I'm thinking, is probably the smallest bore out of all of these, because I think that's what Getson does. And what else can I say about this? There's no dents. So as much as the students will tell me, oh, it doesn't matter that I dropped my horn, it's got this huge dent. I think that's got a lot to do with this. Dents obviously make a huge difference. So here's my horn, and there's my case. So I picked this up when I was still in college. So I'm going to turn the camera off because I don't want to drop this doing this because, like I said, it's dent free. I should take it in and get it professionally cleaned. This silver instrument that's mine, it has no dents. I definitely wouldn't put in CLR. Nothing that's nice. Just because I don't want to be responsible and I ruin my own finish. So there you go. That ends this experiment or project or work, whatever you want to call it.